it was the internal work that was the hardest. The reality of a high performer's situation. I am a recovering high performer, about 6-7 years, where I've really gotten away from just trying to do any and everything that I believe is possible. And that really started from the diagnosis of my MS and me asking my doctor, I know you'll give me medication, but other than the medication, what can I do holistically? I had asked that question because for the past 6 years before I had gotten that diagnosis, I've really changed a lot about my lifestyle so that I would improve my health. And it really just started because I wanted to lose weight. But then I realized how much of my life and my family's life had changed because I embarked on a health journey. So I said, what can I do holistically to treat this condition? And my doctor said, manage your stress. And that was the one thing I did not know how to do. I was forced to reinvent my whole life based off of stress management because that was the only way I had control over this invisible condition. So that really started to look like, first, the tangible things I could get, I could use to control my stress. And I did a lot of research on stress management beyond diet, exercise. I'm talking about consciousness. I'm talking about meditation, breath work, products I use on my body, on my skin, in my home, the environmental stressors, the relation to work and stress to the body, right? Beyond just I have a stressful boss, but am I doing work that boosts my health, that I'm excited about, that not only reduces the stress, but it fortifies me in my health in a lot of ways. So my journey to stress management just started with a health wake-up call. And I know a lot of people, particularly women, we are 70% of the autoimmune diagnosis. 70%. That is astounding. They're not random. They are speaking to us. They are telling us our women specifically are going through something. There are over 80 dominant autoimmune diseases right now in America, and none of them have a cure. But what I found is that the cure for most health conditions is to start with managing your stress, because managing the stress helped me uncover the environmental toxins that were in my home, the toxic relationships I refused to maintain, the job that was great on the outside but wasn't fulfilling me on the inside. I think the why, it started to form my why. Why was I showing up in spaces that I thought were healthy for me or I was bringing a lot of impact to? Why are you there? Is this where you belong? Is this the best use of your time, your love, your guidance to other people? So it all really started with just stress management. And when you practice real time present stress management, I learned at first it was just me being brutal, just ripping everything out of my life. I got a divorce, I let go of some family relationships that were stressful to me. I was really clear with a lot of people in my life, I'm not tolerating things anymore. If you want to be here, you better get on board with where and how I want to be. That was one way of handling it. But then it took time for me to do the internal work. Now I could, sledgehammer my external life to look the way I thought stress management meant for me. But it was the internal work that was the hardest. Did I really feel like I deserved love? Do I even know what love looks like? Do I know my purpose? What is my purpose? What is my why? Why are you so controlling in this area? Let's explore and unpack that a little more. This was all the work that I had to start doing that was related to stress management. And no one tells you this when they give you blanket guidance in the world or in your life that, just do this one thing. But sometimes someone telling you to do one thing opens a Pandora's box of so much more that needs your attention. Stress management unlocked the door to self-care for me that looks so much more like love, kindness, presence, patience. All of God's virtues, right? it brought me back to God. And I realized more and more every day how far I had gotten from God, and how stress management at its peak is a practice of spirituality. I don't know if most people are ready for that, right? Like, that's how you see like Zen people, like their level of spirituality is high. And I'm not talking about religious spirituality. Organized religion is not spirituality. It may be a pathway to get you to be more connected in your spirituality, but spirituality is an individual process. It is something solely within you. I really started on the environmental, the external, all the stuff related to someone and something else. But when it came time to do the inner work, I could not do it without God. I could not do it without holding the hand and the presence of something bigger than me. Bigger than all this stuff that we have. The house, the car, the job, the kids, like nature, the things that have lived amongst us for millennia. It holds the answers. And so that sent me on this journey to, I'm working on my spirituality. I'm getting back and close in touch with things that are natural within myself, within the environment. There was so much about my spirituality that had to be completely renovated. And going from thinking about I have full control to knowing I really have zero control was the game changer. There is no control. There is just faith. I'm faithful now. I'm faithful that I don't have all the answers, but the answers that I need, God will give them to me. And when I need guidance, He gave me a book, a big, fat, large book that fortunately I could put into my phone and into my iPad, but I have the guidance that I need when I need it. There's no mistaking the truth in the word, right? So I just go to the word when I need the guidance. And when I've got the guidance and I think I figured life out, I execute. When I get a little lost, I slow down and I meditate and I pray. And when I feel a little overwhelmed, when I feel things bubbling up for me, I go within. I don't go out. I don't go looking for a solution outside of me. I first go within to find the solution. And God speaks to me. And He talks to me. Here I am every day still working on mastering stress management. But stress management now translates to self-care, self-love, and God's virtues.